Well, thank you for attending and welcome again. Welcome back to LOSFA's Virtual Student Network Group. We're excited to have all of you here with us today. This afternoon, the session will be recorded and focus on breaks and boundaries. So we're honored today to hear from our mental health expert, Dr. Nicole Washington, who will be presenting Mind Over March, Recharging Your Mental Health for the Finish Line. Before we continue, we'd like to highlight the resources located in our announcements. We're placing those links in the chat now. If any of them have any interest for you, feel free to follow those links for additional information and support. And here at LOSFA, you guys, we love having new faces and new voices. So if a friend invited you or this is your first time attending, please type me in the chat. Let's see who we have with us today. Okay, welcome. Welcome. We're so excited that you're here with us today. If you have not invited a friend, we want you to do so. We are posting the script in the chat. We would like you to send to at least 3 friends that you would think would be available to hop on. So let's get them tapped into this session today. So we will formally recognize our spring and summer 2026 graduates at our completion ceremony in May. Throughout this semester, if you are on track to graduate in spring or summer of 2026, please email losfa.studentsupport@la.gov so we can provide next steps and supports and ensure that you're included in our celebration in May. That will also be located in the chat. So if you are a student that's graduating this spring or summer, please take the opportunity to send us your information. We'd love to spotlight you. At this moment, we're going to do a quick little icebreaker. Please click the link in the chat so you can participate. I'll give you guys a few moments to log on before we get started. We're going to start off by answering, would you rather take a 30-minute nap or a 30-minute walk to reset your mind? If you're unable to log on to the Padlet, please type your answers in the chat. Okay, walk, some naps. We have some walkers and some nappers. Okay. What about our next one? Would you rather have a schedule that is fully planned or one that is super, super flexible? Hey, look at all these planners. These individuals that want some structure throughout their day. I see it. I see it. with a little bit of flexibility thrown in there. Okay, what about taking a mental health day or saving it for when things feel overwhelmed? Do you want to pre-schedule it or you want to save it? We all need that break every now and then. It is important to prioritize our self-care. All right. Supervisors on the line, we all need that mental health day. No shade. Would you rather work towards goals with a buddy or on your own? Okay. Somebody, some alone time. All right. Okay, last one, guys. Would you rather have no homework slash emails for a week or a 3-day weekend every week? Ooh, 3-day week. Can me, please. I see it. Mandatory. I agree. It should be mandatory across the board. A lot of those school districts are moving to those 4-day work weeks. So maybe, other agencies or other employers may take up that idea, maybe. Thank you guys so much for participating. This was just the beginning.
Righty. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for that icebreaker. I think it was really a great icebreaker to bring us into our conversation today. What I'm going to do now is introduce our speaker, our guest speaker. Dr. Nicole Bernard Washington is the founder and chief medical officer of Elosin Psych and a highly respected board certified psychiatrist, speaker, author, and consultant. Throughout her career, she has been dedicated to serving individuals who are not typically consumers of mental health services, working to break down stigma and expand access to care. Her clinical focus centers on high-level professionals and women's mental health. While completing her Master of Public Health degree, Dr. Washington became deeply interested in the mental health of physicians. She was struck by the data surrounding physician burnout, untreated mental illness, and physician suicide, discoveries that led her to further explore mental health challenges across other professions. Her ongoing work highlights the significant impact of stigma on help-seeking behaviors among high-achieving individuals. A native of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, North Baton Rouge, and a proud graduate of Scotlandville Magnet High School in North Baton Rouge. Dr. Washington received her undergrad from the Southern University and A&M College. She then earned a Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine degree from Oklahoma State University and completed her residency in adult psychiatry at the University of Oklahoma School of Community Medicine. She later earned her Master of Public Health degree from the University of Illinois, Chicago. Today, Dr. Washington continues to champion mental health wellness, pushing for conversations that empower professionals to acknowledge their needs, set healthy boundaries, and access support without shame. Without further ado, we present to you Dr. Nicole Bernard Washington.
Hello. You make me sound so good. Thank you. I am so happy to be here with y'all. I'm gonna pull up my screen. I am excited. There we go. So most of my work is with professionals, but I also have quite a bit of my practice that is young adults. And maybe that is because I have two young adults. I love young adults. I think that ultimately we, the parents, the Gen Xers, the adults in the room, I think that we are too hard on our young adults sometimes. I think that the world conditions us that we are supposed to just drive these young people to know exactly what they want to do with their lives at 18. And I know some 50-year-olds who don't know what they want to do forever, or don't know what they want to do when they grow up, so to speak. So I think and I also think from a mental health standpoint, as I spend all of my time working on mental health things, I also know that we, the adults in the room, have been pretty bad mostly at taking care of our own self-care over the years. And so I don't know that we do the best job of passing those things on to our young people. So I'm excited to kind of to talk a little bit about what you can do. So when I was asked to do this, they were asking me about, mental health during demanding times, during those high stress times. You think about high stress times. But really, I think it goes back to kind of that question about, do you want to have no emails like for right now, like no homework, no emails for a short time, or do you want to have the 3 day weekend every weekend? And I'm gonna be team 3 day weekend all the time because it really moves right into my thoughts about how we approach our wellness. So you think about those high demand times, right? Exam times, graduations coming up. But then there's always life stuff because, something is always happening. There's family stuff going on, chaos in the family. I don't know what your family is like, but there's always something going on in mine. It's something. Relationship stress, and that's whether you're trying to date, whether you're trying to make friends, keep friends, like that's stressful because you have all these personalities brewing, everybody's going through their own stuff, competing schedules. You might have extracurriculars. You're in school. You might have a job. You might be doing something else in addition to that. You're in a social organization. You're playing sports. You're whatever it is. There's competing schedules. And a lot of us just have these multiple obligations that we are supposed to be doing. You have all these things. Everybody's tugging at you. And that can be really tough. My own young adults, so my children are 20 and 24, and they frequently tell me how adulting sucks, is what they tell me. Adulting sucks. It is not fun. This is terrible. My son always says, this is the biggest scam. All the young people always want to grow up, and then we grow up and we realize this is it. This is what we were striving for. This is it. So today we're going to talk about how can you create a life for yourself that you don't have to say this is it. Like I want you to create the life that you can say, wow, like this is my life. This is what I fought for. This is what I was praying for. This is what I was looking forward to. So the reality is those high stress times are always going to be there. So I don't really like to prepare for them. I mean, yes, you should have a plan for these super stressful times, but really, if you start with a basic plan, it will be all good. So when we think about burnout, you hear a lot of people talking about, I'm burnout, I'm burnout, I'm burnout. And the reality is, this is a term. There's a psychologist who came up with this concept in the 1970s before many of you were born, that came up with this concept of burnout. And it was just a thought that if you're in a helping profession, so if you want to go into a helping profession, but I would even go so far as to say, if you are a caregiver in your family, if you are that older sibling who's always taking on everybody's stuff, you're a caregiver. If you are taking care of, grandmama or auntie, and your family unit is taking care of an older relative, you're a caregiver. And so I think really any of us can be in a position where we experience burnout. And basically, I think the best definition for burnout is is when it feels like what's expected of you is more than you actually have to give. So it's like you having a half a cup of water and the recipe calling for a cup. And you like, I don't have a cup. Like I literally only have half a cup. But everybody's telling you, well, you better figure out where you're going to get that other half a cup from because we need it. And so you're trying to figure out what is expected, if what is expected of you is more than what you actually have. And when that happens, you can see a loss of enthusiasm for work. You can see a loss of enthusiasm for school. You can just have a whole negative stank attitude all the time. And you just feel bad about the work that you are doing. You feel like, man, I'm failing. I'm not a good child. I'm not a good sibling. I'm not a good friend. I'm not a good boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm not a good student. Like you just feel like you're not good enough in a variety of settings.
Dr. Washington,
Yes.
we have two screens showing on our end.
Oh, what are you saying?
I'm seeing burnout on one screen and then mental wellness during demanding times, like the first slide on the other screen.
Oh, that is the most interesting thing that has happened to me
Okay,
today.
now we're just seeing the mental wellness during demanding times.
Oh, and now you don't see nothing because I just done got rid of everything. Look at that. I done got rid of everything. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Um, let's try it again because I'm not sure what happened with that. So let me pull it up. You know, it's always something, right?
Hey, technology.
Yeah, it is always something. Let's try it again. I will. I will not be watching the chat then. Maybe that's why it did that. Okay. Are we back?
Let's see. Okay, yes,
Test.
ma'am, we can see it. Just have to make it in the presenter mode or
Yep.
whatever to
Let me
enlarge
go
it, but
ahead
we can
back
see
to
it
my
now.
slideshow and we're gonna start from and we're gonna work our way right on through.
Perfect. Thank you.
There we go. All right. So your burnout is, what does that look like? It can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be both. So some people are having physical symptoms, you're having headaches, maybe you just feel your body feels tighter, when you're sitting, you're doing this a whole lot. Maybe you have more upset stomach. For some people, that looks like I'm more constipated when I'm stressed. For some people, I feel like I have diarrhea when I'm stressed. For some people, it alternates back and forth. A lot of people's mental health things live in their gut. So you'll see that in children, especially they'll, have lots of stomach aches and upset stomachs and things, maybe when they're at a time of stress. Some people can just be irritable and agitated. You just ready to go off at any moment. Irritability, just negative and sarcastic, kind of negative attitude about the work you're doing, the people you're around, just negative about everything. And then sometimes when we're burnt out, we just don't give it our all. You just aren't 100%. And that's a bare minimum approach in everything. Your homework. You just like, I just got to get it turned in. I don't care if it's a B, a C, long as it's passing, I don't care. Whereas maybe when you're not burnt out, you care about the quality of the work that you put in. You care about what my grade is going to be, what the outcome's going to be. Sometimes when you get in that burnout phase, you don't really care. And so I worry about beyond burnout. I worry about depression. Are you someone who's experiencing extended periods of time where your mood is low, you just feel down, or maybe you just don't enjoy things that you typically enjoy? Maybe you normally enjoy playing basketball with your friends or hanging out with your girlfriends or going to the mall or whatever. And now, they call and you're not even answering the phone. You don't want to be bothered. You don't enjoy those things. Maybe you used to enjoy spending time with your family. Now you don't. So you're isolating in your room. If you're having sleep trouble and energy problems, and maybe you can't focus that great, or your appetite's different, or you're just more irritable and edgy, are you interacting with the adults in your family, the older adults in your family, and they are accusing you of having an attitude? And, they ask you a question and you kind of give a little snippet remark, and they're like, "What's wrong with you? You better watch your tone." That was my mama's favorite. You better watch your tone. You better watch the way you talking to me. And sometimes you think, well, I'm not doing anything, but maybe you are, right? Maybe you're not in a good space. anxiety? Are you having a lot of worry? Like you can't shut your thoughts down because you're always worried about something bad happening. You are always rehearsing the worst possible scenario, trying to overplan, overthink. Do you have some anxiety going on? Or have you gotten to a point where you are starting to use substances to help? And a lot of people are using alcohol and marijuana and things like that just to kind of, ease the tension a little bit. But if you're at a place where you're using those things to be able to be in social settings, if you have to drink to be around people, if you have to be high or just to be able to relax and go to sleep, it might be time to start thinking about maybe I have some other things going on. And a lot of us will be in situations where we are caring for other people, whether you're doing it now or whether you are doing it when you grow up. When you grow up more, as I like to call it, the more adultier adults. That's what my children say. I need a consult from the more adultier adult in the relationship. I need to draw on that, and whatever that looks like, taking care of yourself first is the key. Because if you do that, then you can have something left. You can have some reserve. And so the basis to me of what mental wellness looks like is having a plan. And what does that plan look like? I think there are several domains to that plan. And I think there all of these things can affect your mental health negatively if they're not in check. So I think it's important for you to be thinking about, like, what do I want related to this? What do I want related to that? And that will help you come up with this plan. And I tell people, my wellness plan is I need to live in a place of peace. And what is it that's going to bring me peace? And I think true peace is not necessarily that you will never go through anything, right? That chaos won't be around you because sometimes we can't help it. Our families are who they are. The people we love are who they are. The chaos will always be there sometimes. But my peace is in the fact that they can be as chaotic as they want to be and they're not disrupting my peace. So I tell people all the time, like my peace is strong. She real strong. She's not swayed by everybody else's foolishness. Like my peace is mine and she is sturdy. And it takes a lot to disrupt my peace. Like it takes a lot because I really work at it being a sound, strong structure. So your wellness plan needs to be scheduled. Like you are a priority. So many of us use calendars and planners and all these things, but we don't put ourselves on there, and we don't put things on there for us that pour into us and allow us to have enough to pour into all the buckets we need to pour into. It's consistent. It's not just that 1 week with no emails and no homework is creating that space of that 3-day weekend every weekend, right? So we can have the time and the room to do these things. And it's intentional. Like it needs to be something that you are very, very intentional about and protecting. And so I speak from somebody who is a recovering perfectionist and a recovering overachiever and a recovering workaholic and a recovering all those things. And I think if any of you take even a piece of this today and implement it into your life, you will be a much more sound, healthier adult than I am because you are taking this advice and making it a part of yourself early. So professionally, academically, I think it's important to have structure to your day. I mean, yeah, flexibility is great, but it's important to have some structure to your day. It's important to have your time outlined for what you want it to be outlined for. We live in a world where there are so many distractions in life. Your phone, all these notifications. I am team do not disturb all day long. Like you're not getting through unless you are in my sacred group of people, and even they know don't come calling me with no foolishness. Like you have called me when something's important. But structuring your day, using your time wisely, not getting caught up in Instagram stories and Snap and all of that. And a lot of times I tease my children a lot and I say, y'all doing too much. Y'all got a spam account and your real account and the account you let your parents see. Y'all doing too much. Like you just why you just can't have one account. It's too many things we trying to keep up with. But that can all interfere with your day because I think the reality is if you have a busy day, you got school, you got work, you got assignments, you got homework, you get too caught up in Snap and Instagram and whatever else you're looking at, and that time will be wasted. And then you up at 11 midnight, tired, can't focus. And that hits your mental health. Like that is definitely going to affect your mental wellness. I think we have to learn when to say yes. Sometimes we just say yes. People offer you something and you like, oh, I can do that. Yeah, 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 I can do that. And you just take on a whole lot of stuff. And I will tell you that I have learned that when I really learn to say no, my yeses have so much more power. When I can just say, nope, can't do that. Because the reality is, we only have 100% of yourself to give. There are only 24 hours in a day. You cannot add extra. You cannot create 125% of anything. It's 100%. And if you say yes to something, it has no choice mathematically but to pull from somewhere else. And where is it pulling from? Is it pulling from your time to get your homework done? Is it pulling from your time to foster those relationships that are important to you? Is it pulling from your sleep time? Like, what is it pulling from? It's going to pull from something. You just have to decide what is it that it will pull from. Your physical self. I think a lot of us wait until we're old, like me, to try to do something, right? You will hear older adults in your life say, "Oh, I'm about to be 30, I'm about to be 40, oh, I'm about to be 50. I got to pull this thing together." We should have been pulling this thing together when we were teenagers. We should have been trying to pull this together long before now. So, thinking about your physical self and close your eyes and think, like, what do I want to look like when I'm 50? What do I want to look like if I'm 75? What do I want to look like if I'm lived to 90? What do I want to look like? For me, I want to be able to, if I ever have grandchildren, I want to be able to pick them up. I don't want to be the grandma that's like too old to chase after the grandkids. I want to be doing stuff with them. I want to be on the floor playing jacks, teaching them how we used to do it back in my day. I want to be doing all kinds of things with them. I don't want to be so out of shape that I can't do those things. So then my physical activity becomes very important for me and having that be a part of me, right? My diet is it's got to be important. The things I eat, the things I put into my body, it's got to be important. Health maintenance things. When you're younger, I think you don't always think about like health maintenance. Like, what is that? But if you get into a routine now of going to the doctor every year, just getting a physical, just making sure all is well. And we know that we are seeing younger people develop illnesses and diseases that we just didn't used to see younger people getting because we don't all have that physical activity and maybe our diets aren't that great. And so we're seeing things. So it's important to address illness when it occurs. But sleep really is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. And my patients laugh at me all the time because I say, if you're not pooping or sleeping, nothing is going to go right in your life. Like nothing. Nothing is going to go well. If you're not pooping on schedule, you're not sleeping on schedule, nothing will feel good for you. And so sleep is a very important part of our lives. Sleep is not just, oh, I go to sleep. There are certain functions in your body and your brain that actually like recharge when you're asleep. Like sleep plays a vital role in your physical health. You can't hardly lose weight like you need to if you're not getting good sleep. If you're not getting good sleep, it's going to be hard for you to focus. It's going to be hard for you to remember stuff. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect your mental wellness. So sleep is very important. And then we talked about substances earlier. We want to make sure that you're aware that the substances that you put into your body can affect you. So if you are living off of caffeine and energy drinks and coffee drinks and all that stuff, that caffeine is going to affect you. It may cause you to be jittery, anxious, irritable when you have in your system. But guess what? If you use it over time in high amounts, you're going to become hooked on it. And if you miss a day, you're going to have a headache out this world. It is going to affect you negatively. Alcohol is a depressant. So if you're someone who has depression or you drink regularly, heavily, you can develop depression because alcohol is a depressant. Cannabis, marijuana, lots of folks are out here using, and I get it. It looks cool. I know it has looked cool for years and years. But I think it's important for you to also know that there are a lot more people that we are seeing with hallucinations and delusions and stuff from marijuana. The marijuana of today is not your grandparents' marijuana. It is not. It is not what our parents and grandparents were using back in the day. It's much more potent and can be a bigger issue. your financial wellness is important because nothing will mess your mental health up like your money not being right. And I wish that someone had really, really like pushed me to think about when I want to quit working when I first started working. I would love to have just set up a plan from the beginning. And the younger you are when you start saving and putting money away from retirement, the more you will have. And this is one of those areas that I think we are in a unique position. Man, you think about your grandparents and some of you, even your parents would have killed to be in a situation where they could put away money in savings and think about retiring early. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of my grandparents just thought they were going to work till they died, and many of them did just worked until they died because there was no retirement plan, there was no savings, there was no budget, and people are living longer than they used to live. And you got to think, like, do I want to be 75 years old still getting up and going to work? If I do, it's because I want to, not because I have to. So if there's anything that you will figure out along the way is if my money's right, like if I have money in the savings, you know what doesn't stress me out? A flat tire. You know what doesn't stress me out? Like my roof leaking. Because you're like, oh, I got money for that. I mean, it's not great, but I can handle that. It doesn't stress you out if you have an injury and can't go to work that day. It doesn't stress you out if you need to take some time off for your mental health. It doesn't stress you off if you, it stress you out if you need to take time off to help a loved one because you're ready for it. Because your savings is there and because you don't have to stress. Like these are all the things that are foundationally going to have your peace at a higher level than most people's because these are the things that stress us out. Your psychological well being, therapy. If you know, or if you even think there are things that you could work on that you would like to fix, go to therapy. Go talk to somebody. If you don't like the fact that you are always snapping at people and yelling and having to apologize after the fact, go to therapy. If you don't like the fact that you and your mom can't get along to save your life, you and your daddy can't get along to save your life, drag them to therapy with you. Because God willing, y'all will have a lot of relationship once you're a full on adult out of school in your career, moved away, doing your thing. It would really be nice if you could figure out how to get along and be able to work together. Go to therapy. Peer groups are important. People going through the same stuff as you, that's important. It's important for you to have that from a mental health standpoint. Doing stuff that makes you happy, important. If you cannot, off the top of your head, think of when was the last time I did something that brought me joy, that's a problem. That is a problem. Do we have realistic expectations? Maybe we don't. Sometimes we do, but let's face it, sometimes we don't. Like you're getting ready, graduation, you're like, okay, I got this. And I don't know what we expect. I think people do this in general. Like we expect something magical to happen. Like I'm gonna graduate and then all of a sudden I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm gonna be a whole different person and everybody's gonna respect me and I'm gonna, they're gonna treat me like the adult that I am and they're gonna do. That's not true. So sometimes we just don't have realistic expectations about who people are. And one of my favorite sayings is the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. People tend to tell you and show you, they show you how they're going to treat you, how they're going to be, what their patterns are. We should know what to expect. And then maybe we won't be so frustrated when they do the things that we already knew that they were going to do. And I do think gratitude is an important part of your psychological wellness. Learning how to be grateful for very small things is a very big skill that will take you very far. And learning how to fit time in for that. And I tell people all the time, I'm busy. I don't have a ton of time. And I'm not real woo woo. Like, let me pull out my gratitude journal and journal for 30 minutes. That's just not me. But what I will do while I'm brushing my teeth at night, waiting on my toothbrush to go off, my timer, in those 2 minutes I'm brushing my teeth, I will think about three things I was grateful for from that day. And they might be really big things. Like, I'm so grateful that, I talked to my grandma who I hadn't talked to in a while, or, somebody did something really nice for me today. I'm really grateful for that person. Sometimes my gratitude might have to be that I'm grateful that I was able to make it through the day without snapping on anybody. That was my gratitude for the day. I made it through the day and I was able to keep in control of my emotions and not let other people's stuff cause me to act outside of myself. Maybe I'm grateful that I had the physical ability to walk to the mailbox to check the mail, even though I was fussing the whole time because I didn't feel like walking to the mailbox to check the mail, right? I had to park far out because I couldn't find a good parking spot. But I was grateful that I could take the walk. And I was grateful that I had a car to park and that I wasn't riding a bus or doing whatever. Like, finding those moments, I think, is very important for your overall mental wellness. Your interpersonal wellness is a huge factor. Developing and maintaining healthy relationships. Keyword on healthy. Learning to set healthy boundaries. Keyword on healthy. It can sometimes be really easy to make friends when you're in classes and in school and you're working and everybody's together. But the question really is, can we maintain them, right? Can we keep them? Can we? And I will tell you, the older you get, it sometimes feels like the harder it is to make friends, the harder it is to keep friends. It's hard because people are sticky and they're dirty and it's ugly sometimes. But sometimes there is beauty in the mess. Sometimes that's when you grow with somebody. It's when you go through something with them. But learning how to develop and maintain healthy relationships, not one-sided relationships, not abusive relationships, not toxic relationships, but just healthy relationships with people that care about you and you care about them. And y'all might both mess up sometimes, but at the root of it all, it's coming from a place of love and y'all care about each other. And you need a variety of relationships. Like, you need your family. I don't care how much money you go out there and make. I don't care. I don't care how. I don't care. I don't care who your people are. I don't care who they are. I don't care how poor they are. I don't care how hood they are. I don't care how country they are. I don't care who they are. You need them. You need your family. And I don't care what you grow up to be and grow into and do whatever. And whatever I grow up to be in the next however many years I got left, I still need my family. And I also need my friends, like my real friends, like my, like my real friends who knew me before I was Dr. Nicole, like the friends who can be like, girl, stop. Like, you need to pull yourself all the way together. I need those friends. But you also need whatever field you go into. You need your work friends. You need the people that you in the trenches with from day to day that y'all can fuss and gripe about stuff. Like, you need those people too. You need all of those people in your life. And so I just encourage you to really nurture those relationships and keep focusing on them. And you need your spiritual. Are you somebody who that's important to you? If your spirituality is important to you, you need to figure out how to foster it. What does that look like? If you are an organized religion, meaning I go to church on Sundays, I go to church on Wednesday, I like to go to Bible study, I like choir, I like the choir, whatever that is. If you're an organized religion person and that's your thing, do it. If you are someone who prefers meditation, do it. If you are someone who says, I feel so much more at peace after a prayer, then you should be praying every day. If that's what makes you feel good and that's what brings you peace and calm, you should be doing it. If you're someone that says, I just feel so much better when I'm reading my Bible on a regular basis, then read on a regular basis. Whatever that looks like for you, nurturing that side of you is important. And then your environment. Is your space your peaceful place? I don't even care what your space is. If your space is your half of the dorm room, is it your peaceful spot? Is it cluttered? Is it messy? Is it clean? Is it yours? Right? If you got a room to yourself in the house, is it your peaceful space? If you walk in that space, do you feel at peace in your space? If you have your own spot, when you walk in the doors, is it peaceful? Because there is nothing worse than you leaving the stress of work, school, whatever it is you do most of the day, and then you got to go to a stressful place in the evening. That's hard. That's really hard. So, working to whatever your little space of the world is it peaceful for you? And what does that mean? And then I think we have to nurture our intellectual selves. And so keep it up academically. Like, if I'm taking classes, because I'm always taking classes for something, because I'm addicted to learning. So I'm always in a class doing something. I'm getting ready to start a program here next month. And if I'm keeping up, I feel good, right? Like that's going to affect your mental wellness in a positive way if I can keep up. But if I'm getting behind, if I'm neglecting some of the other things we talked about, and I'm not behind, I'm not keeping up, I'm running behind, that's not going to feel good. And then even once you figure out whatever it is your career is going to look like, keeping up with those current standards of whatever people do in your job, like making sure you keeping up. And in many career fields have continuing education where you have to go ever so often and you have to have so many hours of learning about your job. Keep up with that stuff. But sometimes, even when you have the best wellness plan in the world, you might have to get some treatment, right? You might have to go beyond all that stuff we just talked about. You may do all of that and you still say, I feel depressed. I'm getting up every day and it's hard for me to put one foot in front of the other one. And I go to all the things because that's what people want me to do. And it's easier for me to make myself go and go through the motions than to actually feel happy. You have to make your mental wellness a priority. So don't wait. Like, don't wait until the time is right because it's never going to be right. Something's always going on. Some test block is coming up. It's finals, it's interns, it's ships, it's graduation. It's, oh, I'm looking for a job. Oh, I got to get adjusted to the job. It's, oh, this is happening. Oh, I just started dating this person. It take up a lot of my time. Oh, we're getting married. Oh, we're having kids. And then you know there's no time after you have a child. They just take up all your time. So there's never the right time. Something is always happening. And I always throw in any talk that I give, if you are somebody who has gotten to a space where you're starting to have thoughts of suicidal thoughts, thoughts that your family might be better off without you, thoughts that it might feel better to just not be here. And even if you say, well, I would never kill myself, but if you are having thoughts like, if I go to sleep and don't wake up, that's okay. Or if something happened to me, I'd be okay with that. And I want you need to be reaching out. 988 is the national hotline number. You can call that number anytime, 24 hours a day. And it is also important for you to remember that untreated depression, anxiety, whatever kind of mental health stuff that could be going on, it can interfere with your personal functioning, your relationships. It can interfere with your academic functioning if we don't do anything about it. And you're working so hard in all the things that you're doing, too hard to let that put all that at risk. So just to recap, your mental wellness is a priority. If there are mental health problems, if there are mental health disorders present, they can interfere with your quality of life and your functioning. So be open to treatment. Be open to doing something about it. And focusing on your wellness early can prevent a great deal of sickness down the road in a variety of areas in your life. So I hope that was somewhat helpful as we think about like how do we keep our wellness intact and those breaks and boundaries, and how do we maintain our mental wellness during those more demanding times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Washington. Let's show her some love. I already see some coming in the chat and the emojis and everything. We really, really, really appreciate um, your presentation today and you giving us all of these good gems. And I think two big things that are takeaways for me is just that peace, protecting that peace, and what does that look like for you. And then you talked a great deal about a wellness plan and the different aspects of that. So I know those are some things that we have all gathered, that we can really put a plan together for ourselves to just make sure we're in a good place. So what we'll do at this time is we'll open the floor up. Any questions, any comments, please feel free to come off of mute. You can also put it in the chat as well. Okay, we'll give some time just in case someone is typing.
Dr. Washington, I am actually a employee of LOSFA, and I want to say thank you for the presentation on today. I can tell you now, this morning started as a very rough, I did not want to be bothered type of morning. It was cold, it was sleeting, or whatever they say, the hell was raining, coming down, and I just wanted to lay in my bed. And as a mental health moment, and I have a background in counseling as well, sometimes it's okay to say no. Well, many times it's okay. I have my selfish moments. I'm okay with that. Anybody who walks with their feelings, let them walk on. I'm 50 years old now, and at the end of the day, I say it is what it is. But I can tell you one thing. I am very grateful for your presentation, and thank you.
Yes.
Oh, you're very welcome. But I challenge anybody who says, being selfish, and you always hear that self-care isn't selfish, but that's 100% true. Like, I mean, I think being selfish is one thing, but I think when it comes to you saying like, I need a break, like I need to honor my body's needs and my brain's needs, I don't think that's selfish. Like, I think that's you knowing what your body needs. And I would guess that probably everybody on here is somebody is looking to you for something. And I think a lot of us take on roles of being like the one, you're the one the family goes to. You the strong one. And we're not going to even talk about being the most stable person in your family, whether that's mentally, emotionally, financially, when you are like the one that everybody's coming to for stuff, taking care of you is taking care of them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you are the priority because if you go down, the whole thing goes down. So it is important to take care of you, and think of yourself as doing that for,
Hmm.
those people that you love so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Any other questions before we move on? Dr. Washington, I have one question that may be beneficial
Hmm.
for some students that may watch it at a later time.
Yeah,
Where's a good place to start?
a good place to start for your wellness.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage you. I encourage you to ask yourself this question. So there's a couple questions I encourage people to ask. One, can you be alone? Because I think a true test of your wellness and how well things are going for you mentally is, can you be by yourself? Like, can you sit in quiet with yourself? And if you cannot sit in silence because all the thoughts, all the demons, all the things that haunt you start popping in your head, that might be a sign that we need to do something, right? So if you can't be in silence and can't be alone, I would also say if you feel like you're going through the motions, right? If you're still doing all the things, but you aren't able to enjoy any of those things, or you're not able to feel happy, like if you can't answer, when was the last time I felt happy? When was the last time I like really laughed at something and enjoyed it? When was the last time I think those are some good questions to just kind of start asking yourself and to imagine, are you feeling like are you able to enjoy life? I just feel like life really is meant to be enjoyed. I really do. I feel like we were put on this earth. Yes, there's going to be some stress and some strain and some turmoil, but ultimately, I really feel like we're we're supposed to be able to feel happy. Like we're in
Yes.
community with people. We should be able to feel connection. And if those things aren't there, I think it's time to start looking at some stuff. Someone asked a question, how can you mentally be in the moment when you're alone with yourself? I be mentally in the moment when you are alone with yourself. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're doing with yourself, right? So the yesterday I took myself out to dinner. It was just me and myself. Just me. I didn't care about people looking like, oh, she by herself. I didn't care if anybody thought I was by myself. And I was just kind of there. And so sometimes when I take myself to dinner, sometimes I go with the intention of being able to just sit and enjoy my food. I like to do a lot of mindful eating because I'm a foodie. And so I like to go and sit, and I like to really, like, when I taste something, I like to really like I had soup yesterday. So mindful soup eating looks like putting a spoon, like I feel the heat, like I'm mindful of that stimuli. I'm tasting it. I'm mindful of that. I sometimes sit and listen to the sounds around me, and I might hear, noise coming from one table or another. Like I can do that without being bogged down with, okay, well, tomorrow you got this presentation to give. Do you think you're gonna do a good job? Like, what do you think's going on with that? Or, oh man, I didn't do the laundry when I left the house. I did. Oh man, when I go back home, that pile of laundry still, like all those what if things. So I think if you can do whatever activity it is that you plan to do by yourself without being bombarded with a bunch of other stuff that wasn't not supposed to be occupying that time, I think that's what being in the moment looks like when you're by yourself.
You have some more questions in the chat.
Yeah, let's see. Recommended reads for mental well-being, for juggling and balancing life. I'm not a big like go read this book and it's gonna save your life kind of person. I'm really not. I am much more of a like I would more so say, I would ask you to ask yourself, do you have true community? That's what I would ask you. Like, I think that is much more valuable having like true community than go and find a book to tell you about how to balance life. Because balance in life is like work-life balance is a scam. It's a scam and a hustle, work-life balance, because it doesn't really exist, right? Because we think of it as like, oh, I'm just gonna like everything's gonna balance out, and that's not true. I'm a doctor, and there are times that my doctor life has needed to take time from my family, mom, wife life. So I miss some of the kids' stuff because at that moment, if the balance was 100%, I couldn't give it 50-50, right? Sometimes my work had to be 75 and my family knew they were 25. So I wasn't showing up to this program in that moment. But then there are times when I'm like, that job gonna have to wait because my babies need me. And so my family is getting 90 and my career is getting like 10. So I think the key is blocking out the noise, building community with people who are going to keep it real with you, and that you can learn some of those pieces like, oh, 50-50 isn't realistic. It's not realistic that if I have 100% and I have five things I want to pay attention to, each is going to get 20%. Like that's not work-life balance. It's realizing that sometimes I'm having to pull from here to put here. Sometimes I can pull it back and put it there. And those are things I think that we learn and we can learn how to really do when we start hanging around other people and we're like, oh, you dealing with this too. Oh, you don't have balance either. Like, oh, you. And so I think the community piece is the better piece for sure.
That's great. That's great. One last question. How can we stay connected with you and the things that you're doing?
You can find me on just about all the social media platforms at Dr. Nicole Psych. So DrNicolepsych. Um, so you can follow me there. I have a podcast called The Black Woman's Confidant, but a lot of men listen too because they always reaching out. They always reaching out saying, "Hey, I know this not for me," but and I'm like, brother, if you got something from it, it's for you. It's for you. If you got something out of it, it is yours. There is no period after the doctor, so it's just Dr. Nicole Say.
Okay. And that podcast one more time for us.
The Black Woman's Confidant.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect. Those are going in the chat. So if you all want to grab it and follow Dr. Washington and stay connected with the good things that she's doing, and just continue to pick up some great gems.
All right. Y'all
Perfect.
have a
Perfect.
fantastic rest of your day. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Dr. Washington. Thank you all
Bye
for
bye.
joining us today for this engaging and very important conversation. We appreciate your time, your energy, and just your willingness to invest in your own well being. We hope that you were able to gain something insightful today that will help support you to get to that finish line that you have. At this time, we'll invite Ms. Charnel Tadamy, our Comprehensive Advising Administrator, to come forward with some closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Darius, and thank you to everybody that was able to join our Zoom meeting on this 2 o'clock hour. I would say I really have enjoyed the presentation from Dr. Washington, and I know that some of you have already asked. We will be putting this entire segment on our YouTube channel, so just check back with us before the end of the week, and we will definitely send that link out if you want to revisit the presentation presentation. Before we go, we do want to acknowledge some persons that were able to join us on today. We don't really need to do a wheel of names because I have a few persons that were able to be a part. I would first like to acknowledge Mr. Tommy Jones. He was our first person that joined our session on today. So, Mr. Tommy, we thank you for being a part of our student network group. I do believe this was your first time, and you will be receiving a swag bag item. For our second person, and please forgive me if I do not say the name correct. Is it Ajovi? Am I saying that correctly? Adijovi? You will also be receiving a LOSFA
Yes,
swag bag. Hi, was this your first time being on one of our student network groups?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, we welcome you and we hope to see you back. And then our very last but not least student that we'll be receiving is Jaden Tillman. Thank you so much for being able to be a part of our virtual student network group. You will also be receiving a SLOSPA swag bag item on today. So we thank all of you guys. We thank our staff here that has put a lot of great work into this presentation, and we have truly enjoyed you guys. One other thing, my colleague, Miss Delarisha Ventures, has dropped a survey link. Please, we would ask you guys to take that survey. We read the feedback. We want to know what you thought about today's presentation and any other future ideas and topics that you feel would be beneficial to speak about for future student network groups. So before we dismiss, we'll let you go ahead and grab that link. And once you complete that survey, we will let you dismiss yourselves. We will remain on until the last person logs out, and we will see you guys in the month of April. So thank you so much. So go ahead and do that survey for that feedback.